Firestarter is a 2022 horror slash thriller slash sci-fi slash drama film directed by Keith Thomas. It can currently be found and watched on Peacock. It's also a remake of a film that was made quite a few years ago, starring a young Drew Barrymore, and on top of all that, it's an adaptation of a Stephen King story by the same name. This particular variation stars Ryan Kiera Armstrong and Zac Efron as a father-daughter duo that are on the run. They're on the run from a number of bad guys that want to basically dissect them because it turns out that they've got these superhuman abilities. Zac Efron's character can do a bit of mind control, and his daughter can create and manipulate fire, hence her being a fire starter. This movie was not at all what I expected it to be. For the last month or so, I've been seeing trailers and commercials for it while I was at work, and I never really looked into it. I thought it was just another Peacock show in the works, and my wife was like, no, this is a Stephen King thing. It's a remake of a film that she saw when she was a kid, which in her words was basically Carrie, but with fire. I can't exactly fault her for seeing it that way, but I definitely disagree. Carrie was very focused on Carrie, on how she was this weird outsider and she just so happened to have telekinesis. It was pretty straightforward. Instead, I'll actually agree with a bunch of other critics that have said that Firestarter is essentially like a bad X-Men movie. At first I wondered why they said it. Were they just saying that because she can control fire? No, absolutely not. If that was the case, it really would be Carrie with fire. People are calling it X-Men because there's quite a few characters in the movie that just so happen to basically have superpowers. Good guys, bad guys, and they all use these powers against each other like they would in a superhero movie. Also, and this is a big one, it's not horror. Stephen King has this expectation that follows him around that everything that he does is supposed to be horror. Look, I mean, this movie's dark, I guess, but it's definitely more drama and thriller than anything else. And if you don't expect anything more than drama thriller, the film will be fine. If you expect it to be this big scary thing, you'll think that it's boring trash. That's a very, very important distinction to make. How you go into the film determines what you think about it at the end of the day. And my overall take with Firestarter is just that it was fine. You know, it wasn't great, it wasn't phenomenal. Will I remember it for years to come? Not at all. But I will defend it to the degree of saying that it's not trash. It's not even boring. You know, I was engaged throughout the film. I wanted to see how things would play out. I wanted to see how it would end. I thought that the performances were strong. I thought that the cinematography wasn't too bad. Overall, I'd say it was more average than anything else. If I had to compare it, though, to anything else that Stephen King has done, I wouldn't say Carrie. I'd actually say The Dead Zone. I prefer the Dead Zone movie. I actually really like that, and I especially like the TV show that followed. Or another story that he wrote, The Colorado Kid. I can't say that I've ever read that or know much about it, but I have seen the TV show that was based off of that story, which is called Haven. That's a pretty good show, and it also followed a supernaturally powered people, but it wasn't horror. So I would say that those two come to mind more so than Carrie does, and because of that, I did enjoy the movie more than others have so far. People hate this thing. I don't know, I don't think that that's warranted. Again, I have not seen the original film, I haven't read the book, I went into this film pretty darn blindly, so I guess I can't really compare it to anything else, but I thought that it was fine. A little slow at times, sure, but I guess you can call it a bit of a slow burner at the same time. I didn't really expect the ending. I thought that any of the moments where Zac Efron bled through his eyes were effectively creepy. I had an okay time with the movie. At the end of the year, I guarantee that this movie will neither be on my top 10 or bottom. It'll be somewhere in the middle. It'll be forgotten. But with that being said, let's go ahead and rate it. From a technical, unbiased perspective, I'll be rating this 68% because I think that it's a film that had its moments here and there. They made the movie better than I could have. A lot of it seems business as usual though, so there's a lot of areas that don't seem particularly challenging behind the scenes. So that's why we have a blandish but better than average score of 68%. My bias score, just how I personally felt about the movie, again, was fine. I didn't love it. I think at the end of the day, I'll probably will be forgetting it overall, but I didn't hate it, obviously. So this score is 54%, meaning that when we combine the two scores together, we wind up with a final rating for Firestarter, which for me is 61%, 61 out of 100 possible stars, and that is a letter grade of C on my letter grading scale. But what do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments down below if you watched the original film or read the book that it's based off of, and how you think that this compares. As for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come up with my next review. And until then, peace out!